Hello everyone, I'm Ian Mason. I'm a partner at Gowling WLG and I head up our financial services regulatory team. I've been asked to talk about my top 3 lessons from the lockdown. Here's the first lesson. It's always good to have a plan, but sometimes you can't predict things and plans need to change. All FCA regulated firms will have carried out risk assessments and have contingency plans in place for major risks to their business. These might well have included possible events such as a cyber attack causing a major data outage, a failure of one or more major customers, or some natural event like a fire. But I don't think too many firms will have foreseen COVID-19, at least not in terms of the global pandemic which we've been experiencing. We all know what a challenging experience COVID-19 has been and continues to be for all of us. Who could have predicted the public health emergency, the virtual closing of the global economy caused by the lockdown, and that so many of us will be working from home? Conduct risk is a high FCA priority, so I've been thinking about how COVID-19 has created a number of conduct risks. It could impact on the health of senior management teams and at board level. Firms should therefore ensure that they have a robust crisis management policy in place and identify all personnel who carry out key governance functions to ensure continuity of day-to-day decision making. You also need to consider the possibility of senior managers being unable to carry out their roles due to illness and temporary arrangements which may be required. With most office-based people working from home, the normal controls around the protection of inside information will also be weaker, and there's a higher risk that confidential documents are left lying around the home or aren't disposed of securely. Some financial institutions prohibit the printing of work-related documents at home. Recording of calls may also be more difficult. And you also have the current volatility of financial markets, making suspicious trading patterns or transactions harder to spot. It's just not clear what is normal in the current markets. So firms will need to consider what the new normal is in relation to parameters previously set for price changes, profits generated. Although this couldn't have been predicted, we've all had to adapt, both in terms of our business and on a personal level. And I think it's a tribute to human resilience and ingenuity that despite all the challenges, we've managed to keep going, find ingenious new ways of doing things and workarounds, and we're now planning for the future. Here's my lesson 2. So lesson 2 is about the importance of human contact. Many of us are working from home, we're hunched over our laptops for hours most days, battling the tsunami of emails. In that situation, it's very easy to become introspective and rely on email as a main means of communication with our colleagues and the outside world. But that would be a mistake. If you're a senior manager under the FCA Senior Management Certification Regime, or SMCR as it's known, you'll have been allocated certain responsibilities. And these are likely to include supervising staff. Of course, day-to-day supervision is more difficult outside the office. This makes it more important for managers to ensure they've got an effective reporting framework in place so that they can monitor progress and identify and follow up on any red flags. But documentation and written reporting just isn't enough. The FCA has emphasised the importance of monitoring the well-being of employees. Almost everyone has experienced the difficult times and good times. And Zoom calls or similar media are just not as good as a face-to-face chat. They are more effective and will provide more colour than just exchange of emails. So it is important to have bilateral calls with staff, as well as formal and informal calls in larger groups. My third and final lesson is more personal. It is that variety is the spice of life. The lockdown has been mentally challenging for many of us. I know that I have good days and bad days. When one day feels much like another, there's a risk of becoming stale. There's a danger of Zoom fatigue during the lockdown, although it has been amusing to read articles on how to look your best on the Zoom call and on best practice Zoom behaviour and etiquette. I know that many people have taken up yoga or fitness classes or meditation to freshen things up. So what have I been doing? I always try to take a walk each day to change my environment and freshen my mind. We've been lucky that the lockdown has coincided with some fine weather. I'm also a keen film fan, so although I haven't been able to go to the cinema, I've been making the most of film streaming services and discovering some new ones. And as a fan of crime fiction and Scandi noir, I've recently completed an online Scandinavian film studies course, as well as one on Star Trek and its impact on culture. I enjoyed that one. I'm also a keen chess player, but again, I've had to make do with online and correspondence games rather than facing live opponents over the board. And I'm a devotee of cats. Shortly before the lockdown, 2 ragdoll kittens came to live with us. We've watched them growing up, and they're as cute as they are naughty. They're a welcome diversion from the current situation. So those are my 3 lessons from the lockdown. Thank you for listening.